Let us recite Brahmanad. Om Santi Santi Santi.
Students, last class we discussed about the health and disease. This is the third unit in your syllabus. And what we have discussed, that is, what is a health? Health is nothing but a state of complete well-being of physical, mental and social. And it is not a merely free from any kind of diseases. The disease causing living organisms are known as pathogens. Then what is a disease? Disease is nothing but a disorders or malfunctioning of our body and mind. Due to disease, the general body function gets distorted. The pathogens which are responsible for causing disease are viral, are bacterial, maybe some protozoans, maybe some helminths, maybe some fungus, and the special type of pathogens that we discussed is a prion, which is nothing but a modified protein and capable of causing infection to the central nervous systems. Again, besides pathogens, some other disease causing agents are some chemical agents, some mechanical pressures, then some excretory substances, some body products like the enzymes and hormones, some metabolites, they are also capable of causing the diseases. Now, again we discuss about the different types of disease. Whether the disease is present since birth or the disease is achieved during lifetime. The disease which is present since birth is termed as what? Congenital disease. And it is very difficult to recover from the congenital disease. Again, the acquired disease may be communicable and non-communicable. If the disease can be transmitted from an infected person via the different organisms like virus, bacteria or different protozoans, it can be a communicable disease. And non-communicable disease are different types of disease due to the deficiency, due to the degenerative, due to the hypersensitivity of the body to the different elements, or due to proliferation of the cells without any regions. So we can call the non-communicable diseases as degenerative diseases, deficiency diseases, as a cancers, also as addictive to drug, alcohol or the mental disease. Those are the non-communicable disease. And today, after discussing today's portion, filariasis, we will discuss some important, some model questions relating to the health and disease, which are quite important for you for the coming pretest exams. And those are what is pathogens, what is prions, and the differences between communicable and non-communicable disease. So today let us come to the topic filariasis. Filariasis is a disease caused by a nematodes. Nematodes, what is a nematodes? Nematode is a invertebrates belong to phylum Nemathelminthes. And this nematode is parasites. And this filariasis is caused by that nematode. What is that nematode? That nematode is Wuchereria bancrofti. So let us come to the causing agents of filariasis. So the disease is caused by, or the filariasis is caused by Wuchereria bancrofti. Wuchereria is the generic name or genus, and species is bancrofti. While writing the causative agents of the particular disease, we have to underline the genus and species separately by following the rules of binomial nomenclatures. So, what is the causative agents for filariasis? That is Wuchereria bancrofti. While writing, your spelling must be correct. If there is error in the spellings, there are chances of deduction of the marks. Or there is another species of Wuchereria, that is Wuchereria malai. As I told, it has to be underlined separately. Wuchereria malai. But in the examinations, always you should write the causative agents as Wuchereria bancrofti. Okay. Just for your information or reference, I told another species of Wuchereria or nematodes causing the filariasis, that is Wuchereria malai. And you have to write these causative agents as exclusively Wuchereria bancrofti. And as it is a parasite, it completes its life cycle inside the other living organisms. Those other living organisms are known as host. Okay, inside the host, it completes its life cycle. During the life cycle of filariasis, it can be completed by two hosts. So we can say Wuchereria is digenetic, or it completes the life cycle by two hosts. So it is digenetic. Okay, di means two. As it is completed by two hosts, it is digenetic. So out of the digenetic, one is the primary host, second one is the intermediate or secondary host. So primary host, which one is primary host? Primary host is the organisms where sexual life cycle is being completed. As the sexual life cycle of Wuchereria bancrofti, or it is also known as filarial worms, is completed in human. So human, or you can say man, is the primary host. And what is the secondary or intermediate host? Intermediate or secondary host is secondary or intermediate. Intermediate host is female Culex mosquito. Is female Culex mosquito. Like Anopheles, Culex is another mosquito where the intermediate host is being completed in the life cycle of Wuchereria. Now these two are most important. Which one is the primary host and which one is the intermediate host? So primary host is the human or man where sexual being completed, and the intermediate or secondary host is female Culex mosquito. Effective stage of filariasis is microfilariae. Infective stage of filariasis means it is the stage which is capable of causing infection, is known as infective stage of filariasis is microfilariae. Please you have to remember this stage which is the capable of causing infection is microfilariae. When an infected mosquito carries this microfilariae bites a healthy person, along with its blood, the microfilariae from the mosquito enter into the skin of the healthy person. Now question arises, why not always a mosquito bites, the people not suffer from the disease, not suffer from infections? Then what is the answer? When the mosquito which is going to bite carry the infective stage of the disease, then only that person will be going to suffer from the disease due to the infection of the particular infecting stage. And here in the filariasis, the infecting stage is microfilariae. Then this microfilariae, thousands of a number of microfilariae gets entered into the human body. Then this microfilariae move to lymphatic vessels, which are the lymph vessels just like the blood vessels. This microfilariae is a larva. It is the third stage larva. Okay, and after entering into lymphatic vessels, then these larvae, this we can say microfilariae, mature into sexual forms. Mature into sexual forms, or they undergo sexual maturity, and male and females show sexual dimorphism, quite distinct externally from each other. That is the male Wicheria and female Wicheria. They are quite distinct. This follows fertilizations, and after fertilization thousands of juvenile, the young individuals are known as juveniles or microfilariae are released. They are into the blood and appear mostly during night and appear mostly during night. nocturnal periodicity, as they have nocturnal periodicity. Those that free or wander during night, they are known as nocturnal. Okay, night coming or night active organisms and animals can be termed as nocturnal periodicity. These microphyllidae needs further a new host for the next developments. So unless these microphyllidae or the juveniles are to be set, are to be passed or are to be transferred into new host, no development takes place in the human body. If they are not ingested, they are not taken by mosquito, those microphyllidae undergo death, complete death. Okay, so further this microphyllidae are get infected by or get passed into the secondary host or the intermediate host. What is the intermediate host that I told you? The intermediate host is intermediate or secondary host is mostly the Culex mosquito, which is the female Culex mosquito. Besides Culex, what we discuss is the Culex mosquito. Besides this, there are also the Aedes and Anopheles mosquito of female category, also capable of acting as the secondary host. That is Aedes, or we can say Anopheles of female. Either Culex is the major. If the question comes, what is the secondary host or intermediate host in filariasis? You have to write in the answer as Culex. But you should know, other mosquito like Aedes and Anopheles also capable of acting as intermediate host. Now let us come to the what happens after the microphyllidae enter into the secondary or intermediate host, that is the mosquito's body or female Culex. After completing the life cycle in the human, that is the primary host, they occur the development of the microphyllidae. Now this microphyllidae needs to transfer into a new host, that is the secondary host or intermediate host. While the mosquito bites, along with this blood, the thousands of microphyllidae are transferred into the body of mosquito. So next life cycle starts in the mosquito. Let us come the life cycle in mosquito, which is the secondary or intermediate host. So first is the excitement. The durations for the life cycle, one more point I want to say, the duration is about 10 to 14 days in the mosquito body, that is in the intermediate host. So in the first stage is the excitement. Excitement, X means removal. Here the removal of the outermost sheath or outermost covering takes place. Removal of outermost sheath. Within 1 to 2 hours of injections. Within 1 to 2 hours of injection. And move to stomach. Next they move to stomach. larva. After excitement, after removal is the first stage larva. This microfilariae penetrates into the wall of stomach. Penetrate into means try to enter into the wall of stomach. After 9 to 10 hours of ingestion, or within, or you can say after 9 to 10 hours of ingestion. Next, then these move to or migrate to thoracic muscle. Muscle and form a new shape and form sausage shape. Sausage shape. So what happens to the microfilariae? After separation, they penetrate into the stomach where and after coming into the wall of stomach, move to the thoracic muscles. While their shape is getting changed into a cylindrical forms, that cylindrical form is known as sausage forms. Stage, after first stage larva, come to the second stage larva. In second stage larva, that individuals increase in size. That is the microfilariae. Increase in size, but remain inactive. Which occur inside the stomach. Next is the third stage larva. In third stage larva, then the individual become active. Become active and infective. Now they get accumulated in proboscis. Then these are accumulated in proboscis. In proboscis. Of mosquito. So in the third stage, which is the infective stage, those becomes active and becomes infective. This is ready for infection and ready for transmission into the primary host. So for that they get accumulated or get lodged inside in the proboscis, where easily those infecting stages, that is the third stage larva, that is the individuals, get transferred into the human body. The life cycle of filaria worms. When a mosquito bites containing infective stage, which is the microfilaria, this microfilaria enter into the human blood and they move to the lymphatic systems or the lymph vessels, where they sexually matures and forms the adult worms, adult male and females, which undergo fertilizations and gives rise to a number of microfilaria. These are the microfilaria. And this microfilaria now it is ready for entering into the new portion. While another mosquito bites along with the bloods, those stages, that is the larval stage, and gets transmitted into the mosquito body. In the mosquito body, it follow excitement and the three molting stages. That the first stage larva, second stage larva, and in the third stage larva is the mature larva. And in the human, what? Due to the accumulations of the microfilaria in the lymph vessels, it causes the obstruction of blood vessels, and in the humans, the excessive growth of the connective tissue occur in the leg portions. And this is the normal leg. When it gets infected with the filaria worms, the connective tissue overgrowth takes place. Due to excessive growth, there occurs the increase in the size, and the symptoms is known as, or the disease is known as elephantiasis. It is the increase in the size of the leg. It is one of the important symptoms of filarial infection. Now come to mode of infection. That is how the infections occur to the healthy individuals. It can be infected by a mosquito carrying the infective stage, that is the microfilaria. What is the infective stage? Infective stage, that is microfilaria into the blood, into the skin. I mean to say into the skin. So this entry of microfilaria by the bite of infecting mosquito, the infection can occur. Then in the human, it completes its life cycles, and further it can be transferred to the next developments, to the further developments by another host, by the same female Anopheles mosquito. If they are not transmitted, the microfilaria undergo death. And the incubation period. The incubation period is, what is this incubation period you should know? Incubation period is the period between the entry of infective stage till the development of the symptoms. It is the period between entry of infective stage to the development of symptoms. So the period between the entry of infective stage, that is the entry of microfilaria, till the development of symptoms, is known as incubation period. And it varies organisms to organisms. In filaria worm, the incubation period is 18 to In filaria worm, it is 8 to 16 months. So after entry of the infective stage, the symptoms develops within 8 to 16 months. This period is known as incubation period. Now come to symptoms. The parasites blocks the lymphatic systems, and as a result of this, they causes inflammation of lymph glands. Parasite blocks the lymphatic system. So they causes inflammation. So inflammation occur in lymph gland. It causes elephantiasis, that I had shown in the life cycle. Elephantiasis. It is due to excessive growth of connective tissue, and there occurs swelling of leg, scrotum, mammary gland, and female genital organ. So one of the important features is causes inflammation or swelling in the lymph glands due to its blockage in the lymphatic systems. It shows elephantiasis, that is the excessive growth of the connective tissue, and swelling in the leg, scrotum, mammary gland in females, and female genital organs. Next come to the treatment. For the treatment of filariasis, anti-helminth drugs are to be taken. Anti-helminth drug are to be taken, which are Hetrazine and diethyl carbamazine. Diethyl carbamazine, that is DEEC. So what are the drugs? Those are Hetrazine and diethyl carbamazine. Last part of filariasis is prevention and control. And what steps have to be taken for the prevention of the disease and for the control? That is, first one is killing of mosquito by spraying the insecticide. The insecticide means insect killing agents. Insecticides like DDT and BHC. Then killing of mosquito larvae by filling the ditches which are the lower places with soil, or introducing the larvicidal feces. Larvicidal means larva eating feces. Those are Gambusia, minnows, trouts, stickleback birds, and the plants Utricularia. Next, sleeping on the mosquito net, that we already know. Then wire gauzing of doors. The doors must be wire gauzed properly. Doors and Similarly, the use of insect repellent to prevent the mosquito bites. So these are some of the preventives and control of filariasis. Again I am coming, killing of mosquitoes by DDT-BHC, killing of the larva by feeding the larvicidal chemicals larvicidal feces like Gambusia, Minos, trouts, or the birds like sticky-billed birds, or by use of the plants Utricularia. Similarly, using the mosquito net or the properly wire gauging of the doors and windows for prevention of the entry of mosquito, and use of mosquito repellent to repel this which repel the mosquito, not allow the mosquito to come by the use of the mosquito repellent which is in the form of the cream. So these are all about the filariasis. Now what questions are coming in the portion of filariasis? What is the causative agents of filariasis? That is, what is the causative agent? Wichita and Grafty. You have to write its proper spellings with underline separately. Then which one is the primary host, secondary host? Then the questions are coming about the infective stage, which is the microfilaria, and the prevention and controls that we discussed now, and also symptoms are coming in the examination. Whether these are coming in the objective types or also in the short answer types. What is the causative agents and prevention controls of filaria? So next come to the some portions of the introduction to the health and disease. That is what is pathogens, what is prions, and the difference between the communicable and non-communicable disease. So let us come to difference between communicable disease and non-communicable disease. The first difference is the definition. What is a communicable disease? I have just written in shortly due to lack of space. Okay, you have to write completely using that is the subject. That is, these are transmitted by different agents. Those diseases are known as communicable. The disease which are transmitted by different agents like bacteria, virus, air, water, like this. And the disease which are not transmitted from a infectious person to other person is known as non-communicable disease. This one is the definition of non-communicable disease. Next one, the pathogenic microorganisms are the cause of the communicable disease. Okay, so what is the cause of the communicable disease? Pathogenic microorganisms which are bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoans, those are the cause of communicable disease. Whereas non-communicable disease are caused by a nutritional deficiency. Okay, then you know hormonal deficiency or abnormal proliferation of the cells, which is abnormal proliferation is known as cancer. Now, communicable disease is also known as infectious disease, whereas non-communicable disease is known as chronic disease. Communicable disease cannot be inherited, and non-communicable disease can be inherited to some extent. Okay, whereas not all the non-communicable disease are inherited, but the chances of transmission is to some extent. And next points, these are likely to be acute because they appear quickly due to infections. But these are chronic because they last for longer period and progress quickly. Next one, this can be prevented by personal hygiene. Okay, personal hygiene, or avoid sharing of food or sharing of eating. Whereas the non-communicable disease needs special surgical operations as their treatments. Some of the examples of communicable disease are typhoid, cholera, malaria, tuberculosis of TB, leprosy. And some of the examples of non-communicable disease are cancer, diabetes, Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease, etc. question is, what is prion? So prion is a kind of special or unique pathogens. Well, what happens? The prions have same constituent amino acids just like normal proteins, and the normal sequence of the amino acid is quite similar to that of normal protein. But what is different? The difference is that they are being folded to a typical manner. Due to this special type of folding, it becomes infectious, and the prion contain only protein, no nucleic acid. Remember, it is a special or unique type of pathogens where there is only protein, no nucleic acids. They have same amino acid and sequence like the normal proteins, but they are folded in a typical manner so that it is capable of causing infections. And so which system is getting affected by prions? Prions mostly affect the central nervous systems or brain and capable of causing deteriorations or damage of, you can say, neuron and the brain. So in this way you can write 6 to 7 sentences in the group B answers if the question is, what is prion? Another question is, what is pathogen, or what do you mean by pathogens? Pathogens is nothing but disease causing living organisms. For examples, what are the disease causing organisms? May be microscopic or may not be microscopic. Those are virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoan, helminths, and also the prions. And the prokaryotic organisms which act as a pathogens are bacterians. Whereas virus is a kind of pathogens which is both living and non-living. This virus is living inside the host, whereas it is non-living outside the host. And other pathogens those are the protozoans like amoeba, malarial parasites or trypanosomas, or similarly helminths. Helminths is another type of pathogens which causes the disease filariasis. And the different parasites also, fungi, different fungi which are capable of causing the skin diseases. So this is all about the pathogens, and again one point I want to say, pathogens is capable of affecting the immune system of the host where the body immunity is reduced and the person suffer from various kinds of disorders. So and today we have discussed about the filariasis. What is the expecting question in filariasis? What is the causative agents of filariasis? That is Wuchereria bancrofti. What are the different hosts? The primary host is human being and the secondary host is female Culex mosquito. And then most important is prevention and control of filariasis that we already discussed in this video. And next important is the what are different symptoms of filariasis, that also already we discussed in these videos. So by this we have completed the course for the pretest. Okay, thank you.